All right, so welcome everybody. Welcome all the participants from all the countries. Good morning, good evening, uh, good afternoon to whom it's my concern. So, anyways, I'm Aves Raza and I'm your host today. And this is Linguistics and Pedagogy Webinars. We conduct international webinars and we have very knowledgeable and qualified speakers as well. So, y- uh, you are all the people, all the participants who are active throughout the webinar and who will watch towards the end of the webinar will get the e-certificates. Feedback form link will also be shared, which you will have to fill and then you will get the certificates. And first, we will have a presentation by our speaker, and then we will also have a Q&A session afterwards, and then we will send the feedback link, and then you can fill the form to get the certificates. So today the speaker which we have, her name is Asha Lata. She is an assistant professor working for an engineering college in South India. She has over 26 years of experience in teaching English and soft skills. And she is also extremely passionate about teaching. So let's all welcome Ma'am Asha. So here she is.
Thank you, Avais, for this wonderful introduction. Thank you so much, and hello, everyone, and a very happy day to all of you because I understand you're all from different zones here, and I'm extremely excited and happy to have taken this platform to share a topic that is very very interesting. Before I start with the topic, I would like to talk to you about something that all of us actually have realized. Yeah, we all know that communication skills are important. Yeah, and we've learned so much about the importance of communication skills. Yeah, how to improve our communication skills. So we've been focusing a lot of communication, but did we ever focus on miscommunication? Yeah, what kind of how drastic it is to miscommunicate. So today my topic is going to deal with something that relates to miscommunication in certain situations with certain speakers. And as you all are aware of, today's topic is about Indianisms. Now, what is Indianisms? Indianisms is, I cannot tell you that it is totally miscommunicating, but it happens only with native speakers of the language. Sometimes, they tend to misunderstand the Indian language that we speak in English. All right. And to start with, let me tell you that Indianism is a language that has been, that was born in India, that can be understood by Indians, all right, and but at the same time is sometimes confusing, and sometimes it creates, a miscommunication. The words, the language that we Indians use is actually understood only in India, and it is very clear only in India. And when the same language is spoken to people who are native speakers of the language, find it sometimes a little difficult, or sometimes, we also tend to confuse them and miscommunicate with them. So this session is basically to enlighten you about the different, words, vocabulary that we use in English, which is understood basically by Indians. Though, our intentions are just to show you respect, our intentions are to get friendly with you, our intentions are to, get into a, a wonderful social network with you. Sometimes unintentionally we tend to, confuse and miscommunicate. To start with, can we start with the slides, Avais? Okay, that's Indianisms for you. I hope you all can see the screen. All right, now next slide. Now, as I was just telling you, the term, Indianism is exclusively Indian English, the language that Indians speak. And as I was telling you, please do not misunderstand us Indians. We do not intend to give you some wrong information. our country is rich in its culture, tradition, and heritage. And uh, we try to be polite, respectful, and well mannered with people with whom we associate. So, in this melee, of being respectful and polite, we tend to become, over, indulging, and we try to show how humble we are, how good and how respectful we are trying to treat you. All right. So this has actually given birth to this language which we call Indianism. All right. Indianism is the English language which is spoken by the Indians, and so named it as Indianism. Okay. Next. Right. Now, the words and phrases which we use are very common in the Indian language. And as I was telling you earlier, it is understood by Indians. Indians will never misunderstand it, and there can never be miscommunication because we are all well versed with this language that we have introduced in our country. Yes. Next slide, please. Next. Yeah. And the sentence structure, if you look at the sentence structure that we use, it looks, it sounds English, but what you would realize is it is mostly a literal translation of the mother tongue that we use. The mother tongue, as I said, the native language. India, the different parts of our country, has the influence of different languages in English. It looks more like a translation of their native language. The native language is exactly translated as it is in English, sometimes creating miscommunication, sometimes ending up in some confusion. Okay, next. Okay, these words, phrases, and expressions are commonly spoken. They are commonly spoken in the English language in India. Right, next. And as I already told you, they are often misunderstood, sometimes misrepresented, and sometimes end up in a lot of confusion. Can we have the next slide, please? Okay. Now to start off with, right, right. Stop there, otherwise. Right. Now, what is your good name is a very common question we Indians use. This is a very polite method of us asking you for your name. As I said, we would like to be very polite, very humble, and sound very good when we talk to people that we don't know, people who are strangers to us. So in order to introduce ourselves, the first thing that we would like to ask you is, what is your good name? For us, this sounds to be very polite, very respectful. But the problem is, there is nothing called a good name. Yeah, there is nothing called a good name. Whatever is your name, it is good, isn't it? None of us will consider our name to be a bad name, right? We all love our names, whatever country that we are from, and whatever platforms that we are from. Whatever name we possess is considered a good name. So you shouldn't be asking people for their good name because it doesn't sound correct English. Yeah, this is, as I said, just being polite in India. Just because we want to be polite in India, we say, what is your good name? Now, you would have a good name only when you have another name which is called a bad name. Yeah, a person. Can we go to the next point? If a person has two names, right, and then you don't want to know the bad name, you just want to know the good name, then maybe you can ask them. But I'm sure none of us has a good name and a bad name, isn't it? All of us have beautiful, wonderful names, and we love to represent ourselves with our names, isn't it? So asking for somebody's good name is actually not correct English, right? It's only that we are trying to sound polite and respectful. Okay, next point. All right, next. I hope you can read these, slides which are coming up here. All right. Yes. Now, instead of good name, right? Instead of asking what is your good name, the correct answer would be asking somebody for their name. It is as simple as that. Just ask them for what is your name. May I know your name? Could I know your name? Also sounds polite. It also sounds respectful, isn't it? So do not ask for someone's good name because it is not correct, right? It is not correct English. Rather ask them in a very polite and respectful manner. Okay, very plainly. The correct answer, please. The slide's got the correct answer as well. Yes, the correct method of asking for somebody's name is, What is your name? It is as plain, as simple. It will not confuse. Now, you ask a native speaker, what is your good name? The native speaker will be surprised. No, what is this good name that this person is asking me for? I have only one name which I consider it to be good. And how can I have another name which is bad? And this is a confusion and miscommunication that you would create and end up in if you're asking for someone's good name. So the statement or the question, what is your name? As simple and easy to understand. All right. Okay. Can we go to the next slide? Okay. Now, another question that we ask is, tell me something about yourself. Once my name is known to you, right? My name, as you all know, is Ashalata. And once I tell you that my name is Ashalata, you'll say, tell me something about yourself. And usually we start the conversation with myself. Myself, Ashalata. I am very interested or passionate about teaching. Okay, this beginning of my sentence would go with myself. Where we tend to forget that myself is actually a reflective pronoun, right? It has to follow a noun, and it reflective pronoun, the word itself is telling you that it is reflecting the noun. For example, I can say I am Asha, and then I can maybe start using myself. For example, if I show you a painting, all right, I'm showing you a painting and I'm trying to talk to you about that painting. I'll say I'm Asha and I did this myself. I'm showing you that painting and I said I did this myself, right? Now myself is reflecting my name. So when you're introducing yourself, you should never be starting your introduction with myself, because it is rather a reflective pronoun which reflects a noun. Can we go to the next few points on the slide, please? Yes. All right. And the correct method of introducing oneself? Yes. Right? Okay. Here, the correct method of introducing yourself would be, I am Asha. This is Asha. My name is Asha. That is how you are going to start with your introduction. But you will not use the reflective pronoun myself at the beginning of your sentence, which, as I said, is very, very commonly used by us Indians. This is, as I said, it is not to offend somebody. It is not to, miscommunicate or represent somebody. It is just being polite. It's just being well mannered and respectful when we are using the language. All right, can we go to the next slide? All right, okay. This is a very, very popular word in India. Yeah, I'm sure the moment you look at the word biscuit, you must have thought it is a cracker or it is a snack, isn't it? Yeah, biscuits, you find varieties of biscuits all over the world, and some of us are fond of eating biscuits in all varieties. Chocolate biscuits are my favorite. We love biscuits in different flavor, but this word is misrepresented in our country. And as I said, biscuit is a word which is very easily understood by anyone and everybody. All right. Biscuit, as I said, as we all know, the world knows, a biscuit is a cracker. It is a snack which is eaten. Yeah. Just to when you're watching a movie, or when you're just spending your time at home, or when you're free, you try eating these biscuits. But then biscuit has a different version with us, right? Biscuit here is when you have been offended by somebody, or when you have been insulted by somebody. Can we go to the next few points about biscuit here? Okay. Yeah, as I said, it is a cookie and a snack. If you look at the English language, it is a cookie and a snack. But for us Indians, biscuit, as I said, is something that is offensive, is something that is insulting. If, for example, I was insulted by somebody, and my friend, looks at my face and says, why are you so worried? Why do you look so sad, Asha? I'll tell my friend, do you know something? It was a biscuit for me. So biscuit is very clearly understood by us. Biscuit is where somebody has offended you or somebody has insulted you. All right. So as I said, the word biscuit is very common and understood, very easily understood by all of us. And but sometimes, not sometimes, it always will lead to miscommunication, because all those who are listening to me now would definitely not know this version of the biscuit, isn't it? Okay, of being offended or of being insulted or of being made fun of, isn't it? But biscuit, this is another word which is very commonly used by us. All right, can we go to the next slide? Yeah. Okay. Right. Another very common phrase that we use is, before I tell you about the phrase, I would like to tell you a joke. All right. And maybe that will make it easier for you to understand what out of station is. A friend of mine once happened to come to my state where I live in India to surprise me on my birthday, and she got off at a railway station, and she gives me a call and wishes me on my birthday and says, "I came to surprise you, Asha." And I tell her, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I am out of station." And my friend immediately says, "I am right out of the station. Where are you?" Now, here, out of station, the phrase is used when you are standing right out of a railway station or a bus station, isn't it? Out of station. But for us, when we use out of station, it actually means that we are not in the city or we are not in town. We are away from the city or we are in another town. So that is what we actually mean. But then, as I said, miscommunication. The moment I say out of station, people tend to think that I am standing out of a railway station or a bus station. But then what I actually meant was that I am not in the city, I am not a town. Again, out of station is a phrase which is misrepresented and miscommunicated when I'm talking. All right, can we have the explanation about out of station? Yes, that's exactly what I was telling you. So instead of using the phrase out of station, I think we should say, "I am not in town" or "I'm not in city." And out of station is so common a phrase in India that I'm sure none of us would misunderstand it. Yeah, everybody would very happily understand at the first go itself that I'm not in city and I'm not in town. I really don't have to mention I'm not in town, I'm not in city. Just saying out of station is sufficient for people to understand what I was intending to say. All right. Okay, now can we go to the next slide? Okay. Yeah, this is again a very funny, humorous, phrase that we use in our country. Loose motions. Okay. Now I'll explain to you how we use loose motions here. Okay. In case I have a stomach upset, all right, and I'm suffering. I am suffering in pain, and I take a day off. And one of my colleagues, calls me to ask me why I have absented myself today. I tell my colleague, yeah, with a lot of pain and sadness, I tell my friend that I'm suffering from loose motions. Usually, this is humorous because the moment I tell this, my friend starts laughing. She says, "Oh, is that so? So, why that is the reason why you have not come to office today?" Yeah, this is understood by all of us. But then when I say lose motions to the native speaker of the language, the native speaker would tend to misunderstand, would tend to, it is a miscommunication that I have passed across to my friend who's a native speaker. The native speaker, when I tell them I'm suffering from loose motions, would definitely ask me, "What is loose and what is moving?" Loose motions. I actually, can we go to the explanation about loose motions here? Yes. Yeah. I'm suffering from loose motions. All right. So here, loose, as I said, something that is not tight. Motion is something that is moving. Okay. So when I say loose motions, a native speaker would tend to misunderstand me. He would ask me, "What is moving slowly, Asha? I didn't understand you. What is moving so slowly that you have absented yourself from office today?" Okay. What I actually meant was I was suffering from diarrhea. Diarrhea is a word which we don't use, a very common word used to represent diarrhea. Rather, I should say to misrepresent is the phrase loose motions. Instead of using the word diarrhea, we say loose motions. And again, as I said, we are very happy about it. We understand it totally. No miscommunication at all in India. But speakers, of the English native language, will find this very confusing. They would not understand what loose motions are. Loose motions actually represent the area. All right. Okay. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. Okay. Again, a very common phrase used in India. We very commonly use this word. Okay, head bath. Now, I'm sure you understand what is a bath, right? A bath is a bath, a shower, right? But here in India, we stress on something like this, to tell people that I had a head bath today. Now, a native speaker would definitely misunderstand this term also, because he or she would think that I just washed my head. Yeah, I did not have a complete bath. If you go to a beauty salon, you want a haircut, right? Or you would like to fashion your hair or style your hair. They wash your hair, isn't it? So they wash your head. They wash your head along with the hair. That is understood. When you talk to the native speaker and say, I had a head bath today, they would tend to misunderstand you, thinking that you only washed your hair today and not your body. But then again, a very common term used in India. We understand this to the core without any misunderstanding. A head bath for us Indians is a complete bath from the head to the toe, right? That is a head bath. We specify this instead of saying we had a bath. Can we go to the next explanation, please, about the head bath? Yeah, that's right. Yes. I have given a word which is actually from the native language that I speak. So this actually is literal translation from the native language. Head bath is a literal translation from the native language, and the translations from the native language usually end up in a lot of confusion and miscommunication. So head bath for us Indians is a complete bath. Do not misunderstand us. I'm not trying to tell you that I only washed my hair today, but I'm telling you that I had a complete bath. Okay, can we have the next few points? Yes, the correct method of talking to people about having a bath is, you can very plainly say, I had a shower today, or I had a bath today. That's enough. All right, you don't have to mention specifically head bath, hand bath, leg bath. No, there are nothing like that. It's just a bath or a shower. All right, okay, can we go to the next slide? Wonderful. Okay. This is another term that I would like to introduce to the audience here. Air Force. I'm sure the audience would be thinking that Air Force is one of the services of the defense, isn't it? Like we have military, Navy, Air Force. Yeah. The three branches of the defense. So, Air Force, the moment you read the word Air Force, you must have thought I'm talking to you about something relating to the defense area, right? But then, as I said, in India, Air Force is used with a totally different meaning. It has nothing to do with the defense, it has nothing to do with the military services. Air Force, again, is a literal translation of our native language. We have translated our native language to Air Force. Now, before I actually explain to you the meaning of Air Force, I'll tell you what it actually means. Air Force in the native language that we speak actually means that we are free, we are doing nothing, we are idle, sitting at home, doing nothing, not studying, not working, doing nothing, we are just free at home. Okay, this is what we actually mean when we say Air Force. Okay, now this, as I told you, is a literal translation of our native language, where what are you doing, Ashish? If I ask somebody, what are you, maybe my students, if I meet my students after a very long time, I tend to ask them, it's a long time since I met you, Ashish. What are you doing? And Ashish would say, ma'am, I'm in the Air Force. And I'm so extremely happy that a student of mine has joined one of the services of the defense, and he's in the Air Force. And when I stretch my hand to shake hands with him, this Ashish is actually laughing. He says, "Ma'am, don't you understand what Air Force is?" I said, "I understand it." I said it's one of the military, services. He says, "No, ma'am, it's not a military service. It's actually that I'm doing nothing. I'm just going around in the air, which means, you have nothing to do." This is how we represent, Air Force in our country. When people are idle, sitting at home, or doing nothing, absolutely nothing, we say, "Are you in the Air Force?" Which means, are you doing nothing these days? It is very clearly understood. But then, Air Force, as I said, is a branch of the military and cannot be used in this sense. It tends to be miscommunicated. All right, can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, right. Again, a very common term used in our country, love marriage, arranged marriage. Yeah. Whereas, you should be knowing this. Marriage. Yeah, marriage is a term. And maybe we also use the word wedding, isn't it? But did you ever understand what is the difference between a wedding and a marriage? We tend to miscommunicate, even when it comes to the term called marriage, right? Wedding and marriage are quite confused because we use one instead of the other. We don't know which is right, which situation you have to be using marriage, and in which situation should you be using wedding. Okay, but if you look at the difference between a wedding and a marriage, wedding is a ceremony which is done in maybe for people living abroad, not in India. A wedding ceremony could last for maybe 10-15 minutes or sometimes an hour, not beyond that. But in India, weddings are very lavish. They are very, very lavish. Sometimes it takes around 4 to 5 hours for a wedding to take place, because we have so many rituals, so many traditions to follow, so many different things that go with a marriage, with a wedding. So this wedding would last maybe from 1 to 4 or 5 hours. All right. So wedding is an action and progress, something that is happening right in front of you. A wedding. All right. And marriage is the outcome of wedding. Right. You are in a state of being married after you have been wedded. So wedding is something in action, and marriage is a state of being married, wedded. All right. So now marriage and wedding has been understood, but then another confusion is love marriage, arranged marriage, a very common term in our country. Love marriage, according to us, is a marriage where a couple is in love with one another, have been dating one another for quite some time, or have been in a relationship or a courtship for quite some time, and then they have married one another. So, when they know each other even before marriage, when they have been in love for quite some time and then they get married, we call this love marriage. Love marriage is very easy to understand. When you say, we were love married, we here in India, we understand what it is. Yeah, we know that they were in love before getting married. Now, when some of us say it was an arranged marriage, yeah, arranged marriage, according to us, is a marriage which has been, arranged by the parents. The parents have looked for a groom or a bride. They have selected the groom or the bride. They have decided that yes, he is the right choice for my daughter, or she is the right choice for my son. So it is the parents' decision that matters in this marriage, right? And when somebody says we were arranged, our marriage was an arranged marriage, so easy to understand. Oh, so you were not in love before marriage. Okay, it was the parents that looked for a bride or a groom for you, and it was the parents' decision for you to be married to this particular boy or this particular girl. So that is a love marriage and arranged marriage for us. All right, but then the right term to be used is either marriage or wedding, not anything beyond this. There are no love marriages and no arranged marriages. There is only one term, wedding or marriage. As I said, wedding is an action and progress, something that happens in a few hours or in a few minutes. Marriage is the state of being married. All right. So this is another term very often confused by native speakers when we Indians use it in our language. All right. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. Now, another word very, very commonly misused. Okay. Misused in the sense, for us, it has complete meaning, it makes complete sense, but the native speakers are confused. All right. If you look at the word doubt, it actually means suspicion, unable to trust somebody, right? Doubt is that, isn't it? You are not able to trust somebody. You are suspicious about somebody, right? But this is a very common word which is used in our Indian classrooms, doubt. Uh, when, a teacher is done with her, session, at the end of the session, she tends to ask her pupils, do you have any doubts? Now, when I ask my students for any doubts, I actually meant, would you want any clarifications? Yeah, would you want me to explain anything to you again? Something that you have not understood or followed? This is what I actually intend. All right. And my students, after the class is done, they raise their hand and say, ma'am, I have a doubt. Now, when they say that they have a doubt, they intend to ask me for a clarification, or they intend to ask me to explain something they haven't understood. All right. But then Doubt is actually suspicion. Now I am done with my class, all right, and I'm asking my students, do you suspect me? Yeah, do you not believe me? This is what I'm actually asking my students. But that was not my intention, isn't it? I was asking if they want a clarification. I was asking my pupils if they want me to repeat something or make them understand something, isn't it? But then a very common term which is used and understood by us Indians only in the right terminology. Okay, doubt for us here means something that requires a clarification. But then the right word instead of doubt is query. You would rather ask the person for a query and not a doubt. When you're asking them for a doubt, you're actually telling them that you don't trust them, that you don't believe them, that you're suspicious about what they just spoke. That was not our intention at all. It actually meant that we require a clarification. So, doubt is again a very, very popular word that we use in our country. Can we go to the next slide, please? All right. Passing out batch. Now, if you look at the word passing out, he passed out, she passed out, which actually means somebody has fallen unconscious, somebody has fainted, okay, passed out. It means that, not being conscious. People usually who are drunk, yeah, who are drunk, they pass out. Yeah, they just fall unconscious. They don't know what's happening around them. They don't even know what they are talking or murmuring sometimes. They are totally not in a state of consciousness. That is passing out. But then for us, passing out is, we talk to graduates, graduating students, students who have graduated or who have finished their engineering or their degree courses. We talk to them as passing out batch. That is the passing out batch of 2000 and 2021. 2019 passing out batch has a program today in the college. Yeah, passing out actually means to fall unconscious, to not be in conscious, to just pass out. But this is a very commonly used phrase to talk about students who have graduated, students who have completed their different levels of education. We call them a passing out batch. Now passing out batch is very clearly understood by all of us. It means that people who have graduated or who are done with their final year in that particular course of study. But if you look at the actual terminology, passing out means to faint, to become unconscious. Yeah. So this is another term very commonly used. As I was telling you, all the terms that I'm discussing with you is not to offend anybody or is not to talk low about ourselves. We are doing it with a lot of politeness, with a lot of respect, and we are trying to sound very friendly with the people that we are talking to. So these are our extreme levels of humbleness, to talk to strangers or talk to people that we don't know well. So passing out is another word which is commonly used by us Indians and which is actually miscommunicated to the native speakers. All right, can we go to the next slide, please? All right. Now, a few more commonly used words in the Indian English. Okay, Indian English. I've given it that term, Indian English, because this is the English that is spoken by us Indians. All right. We have something called joint family and nuclear family in India. Yeah. Now, what are we trying to tell you? When we say joint family, we are actually talking about a big family. Yeah, big family. If you look at the word joint, it is joining one to something else. Okay, joining one another. It is that. All right. Now we call it a joint family because we are all living together. Yeah, we're all living together. So we represent that as a joint family. It is actually what it actually means is a big family or a large family. Okay, where all of us are living together. In India, as I said, the culture and our tradition is such that we live in huge numbers in a family. We have our uncles, our aunts, brothers, sisters, everyone living together. And we call that a joint family because we are all together. Okay. So this togetherness is misrepresented by us by saying that we are a joint family. It actually represents a large family. Now, coming to a nuclear family. Now, the nuclear family here is actually the nucleus. You must have learned when you were in school the atoms around the nucleus, which is in the center, which is all alone, right? So, nuclear family, according to us, is a family which is a very small family. Yeah, the husband, the wife, and the child. Okay, three people in a family is called a nuclear family, which actually means a small family for us. Okay, so a joint family and a nuclear family. If somebody is speaking to you like this, please do not misunderstand them. They actually mean to talk to you about a large family and a small family. Let's go to the next word. The next word here is actually a word which is band. Band is a word which is from our national language. Our national language here is Hindi. All right. And this is a word that's root is from the Hindi language, band. And our newspapers, our news channels, you'll find this a very common word. They use this as if they are, even an English newspaper would carry the word band. An English news channel in India would also speak about band. Band in Hindi, the national language, actually means that something is closed or shut down. Okay, something is closed or shut down. We call it a band. And the same word is used in newspapers and is used also in the news channels. We all have gone through that pandemic called Corona, and we were all under lockdown, right? So during the lockdown period, we were all band, which means there was a shutdown. Everything was shut down, everything was closed. Band actually means shutting down certain things, or closing the whole thing. So band is to close down. That is a literal translation of our national language, Hindi, and which is very commonly used in our English newspapers and news channels in India. Can we go to the next word? Okay, right. Fair and wheatish. Fair and wheatish is something that we use with one's skin tech color. Uh, you know, you are quite aware of whites and blacks, a very common word used globally, white and black. But here in India, instead of white, we say fair, and instead of black, we say wheatish. Wheatish is being that tint of brown color, which looks like the brown color of the wheat. Yeah, you must have seen the grains of wheat. Wheat, the color is brown, right? So instead of saying brown, we say wheatish, which represent the color of your skin. You are fair, which means you are white, or you are brown, and this represents one's complexion. It has nothing to do with wheat. Okay, and fair, as I said, represents your complexion of being white. All right, okay, can we go to the next word? Okay, now here, co-brothers and co-sisters. Co-brothers and co-sisters, as I was talking to you about our large and small families. In a large family, all, if for example, a family is consists of around five brothers. So here all the five brothers are married and are all living under one roof along with their wives and their children. Okay, so a married brother, all right, a married brother actually is represented as a co-brother, or a married sister is considered a co-sister. Now, co-brother and co-sisters are nothing but brothers and sisters who are married to different men and different women are called co-brothers and co-sisters. For example, I am married and my husband's co-brother would be my sister's husband. Okay, so it's very easy to understand for us. My sister's husband would be considered the co-brother of my husband. All right, so this is how we are. All right, co-sisters. Co-sisters are, again, my husband's brother is married and his wife becomes my co-sister. This is a little confusing for you, because this is the first time that you're listening to such terminology, but very clear in our country. We understand it very clearly. Co-brothers and co-sisters are married couples calling one another. Okay, the younger brother has a co-brother in the elder brother, and the younger sister has a co-sister in the elder sister. So once you are married, you come up with these terminologies: co-brothers and co-sisters. Can we go to the next word, please? Okay, now, sitting on my head. This is again literal translation of our native language. Yeah, when somebody is pressurizing you, is forcing you to do something. A very commonly used phrase in our country is, he or she is sitting on my head, which represents that you are being forced to do something. There is a lot of stress and strain given to you. This person is unable to let you go. He wants this work done. Usually, this is a word that we use with our bosses in our companies. We use this with our bosses in our companies. We say, my boss is sitting on my head, which means the boss wants a task to be completed by the end of the day. Before you leave the office, you have to complete that task. When he gives you that ultimatum, that is the time when you say, oh my god, my boss is sitting on my head. Now I have to finish this work, I have to complete this task. Okay, sitting on my head actually represents force, pressure, stress, tension. All right, a simple word like that has been given a phrase by us, sitting on my head. All right, okay. The next, cut the call. All right, cut the call is, a very common word again used, right? When you are, using your mobile to call one of your friends, and you have been talking to your friend for quite some time, and suddenly the call gets disconnected. Yeah. Now here we say the call is disconnected. That is the right usage of the language. But then a very popular terminology in our country is cut the call. Why did you cut the call? Unless you are having a pair of scissors in your hands and you're cutting the cable, it is not cutting, isn't it? Right? But then we use it with phone calls. Yeah. When the phone call suddenly drops, or when the phone call suddenly gets disconnected, instead of using the word disconnected or drop, we use the word cut the call. Don't cut the call when I'm talking to you. Why did you cut the call? These are, certain emotional, phrases that we use sometimes when you're angry. And sometimes, when the call gets disconnected when you are talking, it's so insulting, you feel so insulting. Somebody has just, disconnected your call. You can't take it. So you call them back again and say, why did you cut the call? Yeah, cut the call actually is something which represents disconnecting a call and not literally cutting the call. All right, okay. Can we go to the next word? Okay, puncture. Yeah, puncture, a very popular word which we use. Puncture actually represents a flat tire. When we have a flat tire, yeah, it is called flat tire by native speakers. I was late to the office because I had a flat tire. It is understood that, you had a flat tire and you needed some air to be pumped into your tire, and, so that it can start going again. But then here we use the word puncture. Now, puncturing something is actually forcefully removing air out of a tube or out of a tire. You are forcefully removing the air. That is puncture. But then when it suddenly happens when you're driving the vehicle, you have not done anything to forcefully remove the air, isn't it? It is it, you know, it, the air in the tire or in the tube has just been let out, and you have a flat tire. So puncture actually represents a flat tire. All right, and it doesn't mean the term as it is used. Okay, forcefully removing the air is not the right term that we wanted to use. What we actually wanted to tell you is that we had a flat tire. All right, okay. Can we go to the next word? Okay, right. Eating my brain. Again, very commonly used, when parents are angry with their children. Okay, and when children are angry with their parents, or sometimes, when you're angry with your boss, or your boss has given you some task which it is impossible to accomplish by the end of the day. Yeah, and your boss keeps on calling you, sending you mails, reminding you every now and then, is the work done? How far have you come? How long would it take you to finish the task? When somebody is constantly asking you again and again, reminding you again and again, you talk to your friend and say, oh my god, this boss is eating my brain. Eating your brain again is quite similar to the word that we just spoke about earlier, sitting on my head. Sitting on my head and eating my brain actually represents the same, same thing. They're the same intention. When somebody is putting a lot of pressure on you, is trying to make you do something which is impossible, you use the phrase eating my brain. See, eating your brain would be literally opening up your head, scooping out your brain and eating it. Are we doing that? We aren't doing it, isn't it? But then that is a very popular phrase which we use, and we say, he's eating my brain. My boss is eating my brain from morning. I don't know if I'll be able to finish my job today. Okay, so this is the terminology that is used again in the same terms as sitting on my head. All right, the next one. Okay, yeah, mixie. Again, a very, very popular word, especially in the South India. South Indians Our breakfast in South India is, I'm not very sure if you're aware of these breakfast items, but it is idli and dosas. We have a lot of idlis and dosas, and that is our regular breakfast. Some of you must be knowing these, breakfast items. But then, for those who are not aware of what idlis and dosas are, it is, made out of, dal. It is made out of black gram dal, soaked for some time and then, battered, and then, you eat it as a breakfast. And during your breakfast time, in order to, the in order to prepare this soaked dal for, for making of idlis and dosas, we here in India use a mixie. Okay. Now here mixie is nothing but the regular mixer, grinder, or blender, right? Instead of saying mixer, grinder, blender, a very commonly used word is mixie. Mixie is so easy to understand because you're mixing rice and dal in the jar which is on a mixer. We call it a mixie because you're mixing everything together, right? But it actually means a grinder or a blender, or for that matter, even a mixer, but not mixie, which is again, as I said, a very common term and very easily understood by all of us Indians here. All right. Okay. Can we go to the next word, please? Okay. Uh, am I getting this comment about what's your mother tongue, or should I explain what is mother tongue there? Okay.
No, ma'am, those questions are for the participants.
Okay.
You
Okay.
may
Fine.
continue your
Yeah.
presentation.
All right. Okay. And the other word that has just popped up here is about a snap. Again, a very, very common word, Uh, we Indians, we love taking a lot of pictures together. Yeah, a lot of pictures. These days, the word that is used for pictures are selfies. We love taking selfies, isn't it? It's not just in India, everywhere, everywhere, in every country, we are all fond of taking selfies. We love to watch our, pictures, admire them, and fall in love with our own selves when we look at our pictures, isn't it? We love looking at ourselves in pictures. Now, snap for us actually means a picture. It is a picture. But if you look at the actual term snap, it means to cut something. Yeah, to cut something. You snap the bud, you snap the flowers, you cut it. Okay, that is snapping. To cut something is a snap. Is it is not the word that we use in our terminology. Snap for us actually means a photograph, a picture. Okay, let's take a snap together. Everyone understands, everybody is so happy, and all of us get together and say cheese, to be photographed. So here the word snap actually means to be photographed. All right, can we go to the next word, please? Okay. Now, what I'm trying to talk to you is about different words that we are using in our country. All right. And the first word again in this slide says different, different. Different is actually talking about different things. Yeah. Different things is enough, right? But then, we try to give it a lot of importance. We are trying to make it very clear. We are not talking about one thing. We are not talking about two things. We are talking about 10 different things, right? So instead of saying 10 different things, you'll say different things. Okay, different things actually gives you the understanding that you're talking about many things at the same time. All right, so different is again a very common word which we use. And then coming to the next one, I am liking what he is doing. Yeah, I am liking what he's doing. Again, the semantical structure of the sentence itself is incorrect here. All right, so rather say, I like what he's doing. I like what he's doing. It's as simple as that. You don't have to say, I am liking what he's doing, because it is semantically, structurally not right. Okay. I like what he's doing. I like what you're doing. You can, if you really like something that somebody is doing, you can just say, I like what you're doing, instead of saying, I am liking what you are doing. All right. Okay. It is present continuous tense, which is used in a wrong semantic structure. All right. Okay. And then many years back, a very common word that we use, many years back. The right word is actually many years ago. That is the right phrase. Many years ago and not many years back. Many years back is very easily understood by us, It means long ago, many years ago. We all understand it. You don't have to correct us and tell us it is not back, it is ago, but because we have understood the right meaning. But then the right method, the right way of speaking this phrase is many years ago and not many years back. Okay. For example, once I'm done with this session, I have another meeting. All right, I have another meeting. Now I'm calling up my secretary and trying to reconfirm with my secretary, meeting is there. Okay, meeting is there. Now when you look at the word there, you're actually trying to show distance. It is there, right? It is there, it is here. This is how you represent distance. But you know what I meant? I tried to confirm. Yeah, after this webinar, meeting is there. So I'm trying to confirm, is the meeting there? Is do we still have the meeting? Okay, this is confirmation. Instead of saying, can you confirm if we have the meeting? Can you confirm what is the time of the meeting? Instead of doing this, we are saying meeting is there. Okay, which we are trying to use this phrase to confirm that there is a meeting after the webinar. All right, and then veg and non-veg. Now, veg and non-veg, I'm sure, is a very popular word used all around the globe. Veg and non-veg, and as you all know, it represents food, isn't it? Okay. Now, veg and non-veg actually is not the correct terminology to be used. Yeah, the right terminology is vegetarian food or non-vegetarian food. But you know what we tend to ask people? You say, are you veg? Are you non-veg? Yeah, are you veg? Are you non-veg? What I'm actually trying to say is, are you all plants and leaves? Yeah, or are you an animal? Okay, this is what we mean when we say veg or non-veg. You actually have to mention vegetarian food. Do you like eating vegetarian food or non-vegetarian food, rather than asking if you're leaves and plants or if you're animals? That is exactly what we say when we use the words veg and non-veg. All right, so it has to accompany the word food, and in full form, vegetarian food and non-vegetarian food. Okay, and let's go to the next one. Literally, if you have seen me, you must have noticed that I have been using this word purposely many times. I did it many times. I said literally. Now, literally is something which is written down. Yeah, which is written down to make sure of something. Okay, something that is written down is literal. But we use this to add a lot of weightage to what we are speaking. I was literally in a lot of pain. I literally had a severe headache. This is just to impose that depth of pain, that depth of emotion that I had in me when I say literally. So, literally, as I said, cannot be used with pain and suffering, cannot be used in any other way unless and until you have something written on paper. Okay, only then it is literal. All right, and then cousin, brother, cousin, sister. We have brothers, we have sisters, we have uncles, we have aunts, but then we also have cousins. Cousins could be related to us in any way. Yeah, it could be cousins who are maternal, it could be cousins who are paternal, right? And when you say he is my cousin, the gender is revealed there. Yeah, you know it is a male. She is my cousin, you know that she's a female, isn't it? Now, you don't have to mention and specify cousin, brother, cousin, sister, which is actually incorrect in the language. Yeah, just use the word plainly. Cousins, we are cousins. Yeah, when people are looking at you, you are a boy and a girl, and you say we are cousins, it is understood that you are cousins. Yeah, you don't have to say he is my cousin brother, she is my cousin sister. All right, so this is again not right English. So just say that we are cousins, or then he's my uncle, he's my aunt, or he's my brother or my sister. That's all, but don't use cousin brother, cousin sister. All right, and then the next word here is first class. I'm giving you this impression. If you can see my impression here, this is an emoji which you find even on WhatsApp, isn't it? Yeah, when you want to say something is very good, you use this emoji, don't you? You use this very good, right? Or good, isn't it? Now, again, for us here, for example, you just had a meal which was very delicious, which is very tasty, a sumptuous meal, and somebody asks you, how was the meal? You say first class. Yeah, first class. Now, first class for us represents something that was very good. Okay, something what was that was extremely delicious, which was sumptuous. But then first class actually represents a standard or represents a class of travel. Yeah, economy, first class, business class, all these are different standards of traveling, which cannot be used in the way that we use. How do I look today? first class. This is what we say, which says that you're looking very beautiful, you're extremely pretty. All right. Or if you're talking to a man and you say, how do I look today in this, suit that I'm wearing? I look at him and I say, oh my God, you look first class. Where, actually I meant that you are looking extremely handsome. All right. So first class is again a very common term that we use here in India. All right. And then the next one, only. Only is added as a tagline to most of the sentences. Okay. Where were you? I was here only. This is a word that we use. Only is you're trying to stress the point and tell people that you did not go anywhere. You were right here. Yeah. Just to show them that you were nowhere else but here. You use the word only. Only means one. Yeah. One thing. Right. Isn't it? Now you don't have to use the word at the end of every sentence as a tagline. Yeah. I was here only. I was talking to you only. Yeah, only is where we are trying to use and stress that we have done something correctly. Yeah, we were not wrong. Yeah, what were you doing? I was studying only. When the parents ask the children, what were you doing for so long in the room? I was studying only, which means I was not using my mobile, I was not using the internet, I was doing nothing, I was only studying. Okay, so this is a tagline which we add to every sentence, when we speak about it. And then time pass. There's nothing called time pass, There's nothing called time pass. Now we use the word time pass, for example, somebody notices that I'm having some popcorn and they say, why are you eating popcorn during lunchtime? I say, time pass. Yeah. I have nothing to do. Just to pass time, I'm eating a little bit of popcorn. This is past time and not time pass, which we use the other way around, time pass. Yeah. Why are you watching this movie at this hour? Time pass. Yeah. What it actually means is you're trying to pass time by watching this movie. You're trying to pass time by having this little bit of popcorn in front of you. All right. So the right way of using the word time pass is pass time. Yeah. What do you do to pass time? Yeah. I read books. What do you read to do to pass time? I listen to a lot of music. All right. So that is the right way of using the word time pass. It is passing time and not time pass. Okay. I'm sure I must have introduced you to certain new terms that we use in our country, which actually, as I told you in the beginning, do not intend to miscommunicate, do not intend to misrepresent. It only intends to be very, very friendly, respectful, and humble towards the people that we are speaking. All right. Though most of the words that we discussed now do not really have the correct meaning in the native language, but then it is used in India, understood by Indians, and made by Indians. All right. That brings me to the end of this session. And can we, yeah, yes, it was a great experience, talking to, all of you here from different, countries. It was a wonderful experience, a memorable event in my life. Thank you so much for being such an attentive and patient audience. Okay, I'm ready to take some questions now.
Alright, ma'am, thank you for such a great presentation. And we learned a lot about how Indians use English and many phrases. And some of them were very interesting, and some of them were very funny and interesting at the same time. So, thank you for your presentation and sharing the knowledge with us. So, now the audience may ask questions, and ma'am will be here to answer them. So, we will wait for the questions. So if anyone has some question, they can ask in comment section, and then ma'am will be answering them. So
You're most welcome.
so we're still waiting for questions. Ah, All right.
The audience can even share words which I must have not discussed with you and you have heard of it. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
words.
Also,
Yeah, you would actually be teaching me some more new words to be added for to be added to my next webinar.
yes, ma'am. The audience can also comment new words if they have, and also they may ask questions. Payal has shared a word.
Oh, cello. Okay, that's a new word. Yes, that's from the Hindi language, right? Yes, that's right. Cello is asking somebody to move, asking somebody to go forward. Yeah, that's something that we use. Yes, thank you, Payal. That's a very wonderful new term that you have introduced me to. That's right. Yes.
All right, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Cello, cello. All right. We still don't have any questions. So if participants may ask questions. If they don't have any, then we may conclude the session. Oh, all right, we are getting questions now. Is this misconception or miscommunication is only in Indian context, or other countries also face the same?
Uh, when it comes to other countries, they will face the same if they are talking to an Indian. Yeah, the Indian is going to confuse you with the language that they use in India. All right, and I'm not very sure about any other countries which happen to use something that we in India do. Yeah, you should enlighten me about that. I have been able to tell you that what we use in our country, but then definitely if an Indian is speaking to a native speaker from America, London, he's sure to miscommunicate sometimes, or sometimes even confuse the native speaker. Yeah, this definitely happens.
All right. So if the participants, if you have some words like these in your own variety of English,
Yeah.
then you may
Hmm.
also share in the comments.
Exactly.
All right. So just one comment so far. Let's wait for some more questions. All right. We have another questions. Uh, Please re-explain the use of word literally.
Okay, literally is used when you are trying to stress something. For example, if I tell you that I have a headache, yeah, I am not expressing myself to the full. No, I have a severe headache. Yeah, I have a severe migraine. No, you should understand the intensity of my pain. So, to enable you to understand the intensity, I use the word literally. Yeah, I literally have a headache. When I'm saying literally, I'm actually trying to tell you that I am intense pain. I am in intense suffering. All right, that is how we in India use the word literally, right? But then literally is something that is actually written down on paper. Something which is on paper is said literally. Okay, you use this term with something which is written and not spoken.
All right. So I hope it's clear to the person who asked. And here is someone sharing another phrase
Mhm.
so, which means that something is not so good and not so better either.
Very good. Absolutely. Yeah. Again, an Indianism here. Yeah. How was the movie? Yeah. Usually this happens with movies, isn't it? Vasundhara, I'm sure you'll agree with me. How was the movie? It was so so. Yeah. Not very good, not very bad. The expression also changes when you use this term, so so. Absolutely. Thank you for adding another phrase to my list. Okay.
All right. So
Wonderful. We have a very receptive audience, always. Wonderful to have such queries.
yes, ma'am, we do have a very interactive audience.
Mhm.
So now, Indianism is the right word or Indianization?
Yeah. Indianization is actually correct. Okay. Indianization is actually correct. But, as I said, instead of Indianization, we Indians use the word Indianism. We have changed the word Indianization also to Indianism. So, as I said, it happens only in India, it is used only in India, and it is framed only in India. It is actually Indianization. You're right. You're right.
All right. So we have got another comment. It says we use the word literally in the same sense in Spanish.
Oh, okay, okay.
So
That's
Spanish
wonderful.
people are also using
The word
the same
literally.
sense. Yes,
Mm.
ma'am. Just
Oh,
like
wonderful.
Indian.
Wonderful. Very nice to know this. Yeah. It's not just Indians, even Spanish people speak the same. Okay.
So, is Indianism acceptable in academic context, like writing essay, academic papers?
Okay. Honestly, Indianism is not acceptable, but then we Indian teachers accept it. Yeah, because we are also on the same lines, we are also speaking the same language. So even the same language that is being used in academic context and academic papers is sometimes acceptable by us Indians. But then honestly, it is not accepted. Yeah, it is not acceptable. You have to use the right language. Okay, when it comes to academics. That was a wonderful question.
Right. So, yes, comments so
Oh,
same in the Philippines.
all right, I'm so happy that I have counterparts like Spanish and Philippines, who are on par with the Indians when it comes to the English language. All right, wonderful. Yes.
So, aha is a word used mostly in Pakistani context.
Mhm. Okay. So, aha. Actually, for us in India, aha means something that is good, but sometimes it is also used in a sarcastic manner, Yeah. Aha. It is
Yes,
also
ma'am.
used sarcastically sometimes. How is it used in Pakistan, otherwise? Is it
Uh,
sarcastic?
it says for showing surprise.
Surprise. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm. All right. We have better expressions, in India, in case we are surprised. We say, ah, that is how we show surprise.
Yes,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
we also do that
Okay.
in Pakistan.
Wonderful. Mm-hmm.
So, so participants and viewers, if you have any questions, you may ask in comments. Even Indian people follow standard sentence structure.
Uh, yes, usually we do. But then in some instances, especially WhatsApping, I'm sure it's not just in India, it happens in all the countries, away from India. WhatsApping has become so popular these days where we have cut short on all the sentences, isn't it? We don't use complete sentences, especially with the spellings in English. Yeah. Thank you is long lost and forgotten. It is just TQ, isn't it? So there is no proper, vocabulary to forget about sentence structure. When it comes to sentence structure, a very common sentence which is used on WhatsApp is long time no see. No
Yes, ma'am.
sentence structure there, isn't it? Very popular. Yeah, very popular. So we actually use standard sentence from formations, but then, as I said, WhatsApping is something that is according to our whims and fancies. Yeah, as long as it is understood by the person who's reading the text or who's understanding what I spoke, I think that is sufficient for us. Yeah,
Yes, ma'am. That's quite interesting.
yeah.
Uh, this question: can we expect that English will last forever?
at the stage in which we Indians are when it comes to English, I can only say let us not murder it further. We have already done a lot of it, but I think we'll have to start learning and using standard English now. Yeah, let it not just fade away. Yeah, it's a beautiful language, and let us use that language in its essence of beauty.
All right. So we have like also same sense in Philippines for showing surprise.
Yeah, audience, you've made me so extremely happy today. I thought it was just we Indians who use this. But I'm so happy that I have so many counterparts, who have the same understanding. All right, yes.
Okay, so another comment is Indianism already a standard English language in your country, ma'am? And what English are you basing for, American or British? Thank you very much.
Okay. Your second question first. We use British English in our country. Yeah. Acceptable received pronunciation in our country is the British language. But then the standard English, as you said, is not what we speak. Yeah, we though there is a lot of Indianisms or Indianization of the English language, it is not accepted as a standard language. Yeah, the British language is an acceptable standard English language in India.
All right. So another question: are the rising languages a threat to English as a global language?
Globally, now since I got to know that even Spain and Philippines are on the same lines, yeah, if this continues, this might spread to all the other countries also. And then it would become a threat. But let's put this to an end, before it actually becomes a threat. Yeah, let's learn and teach correct English.
All right. And so looking for another question. Okay, we aren't receiving any questions now. There might be some people who are writing questions or something. So, all right. So we will wait for another 5 minutes for people to ask questions, or they may share their own varieties of English and
Yeah.
share some words with us, and then we will conclude the session. So, participants, you may write the questions, and then we will conclude the session.
I would also love to know which are the other countries who are on lines of Indians, other than the Philippines and the Spanish.
Yes, that's also right. So, audience, if you have the same usage of phrases and words which are used in Indianism, you may also comment them with your country name. Okay, so we have a question about bunt. Could you mention again about bunt mean? What bunt
Okay.
means?
Band, as I was telling you, actually comes from our regional language. It is also our national language, Hindi. All right, Hindi is our national language, and this word is from the Hindi language. Band actually means a complete shutdown. Okay, a complete closure. So bun is used in place of, we had a complete lockdown, isn't it? Instead of saying lockdown, we Indians say there is a band all over the city, all over the state, all over the country, which actually represents a complete closure of everything, a shutdown, a lockdown.
All right. So here's a comment that Americans also changed English language according to their requirements.
Absolutely, yes. Can you suggest a few words so that every one of us would know what those words are? Yeah, of words or a few phrases.
Ma'am, are you asking me or the commentator?
I am asking the person who has commented.
All right. So, Gosia, you may comment some words of how American and English has
Um,
different words for the same thing.
yeah, her comment actually reminds me of words which have, which are a slang, which Americans use as a slang. Gonna, wanna. Yeah, instead of saying gone,
And
yeah, going. Instead of saying want, gonna and wanna are words. Yes, you're right, absolutely. Americans have also changed their own language, according to their whims and fancies. Yeah.
all right. So, here's someone asking, what is the meaning of acha?
Acha actually means, oh, is that true? Yeah, that is, or you can also say, acha in the place of agreeing to something. Yeah, will you come and meet me today evening? You say acha, which means, you're agreeing to it. So acha has different meanings in different contexts, and I think the Hindi speakers would enable me better. Otherwise, maybe you can tell me what does acha mean in Pakistan?
Ma'am, acha mean like okay, or acha if
Yeah,
you like ask in a manner acha with a surprise, like if you are
yeah,
surprised by something, like
uh-huh.
uh, the university is closed today, so we
Uh-huh.
say
Yeah.
acha to show the surprise. Or we may ask a question like acha. So there are many uses of acha
Many,
and
as I
what
said,
to
yeah. Acha also means good. How was the food?
mean
Acha tha.
acha.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's nice. Yes.
And so this question, are their terms only applicable to yours but not to others?
Huh? Terms, as I said, terms which we Indians have framed are useful only to Indians, because these terms, when used with native speakers, tends to confuse them, tends to miscommunicate to them.
All right, ma'am. So in India, is English language considered as a second language?
Yes, in India, the native language is considered the first language, and English is considered the second language.
And this is the last question which we will take for this webinar, and then we will try to conclude the session. All right.
Mhm.
So difference between agree with you versus agree to you.
Yeah, agree with you is in agreement with me. Yeah, you are agreeing with me. For example, I said, let's bunk class tomorrow. You agree with me. Yeah, so both of us are on the same lines. Yeah, agree to you is agreeing to what I say. Yeah, maybe for example, I give you a command or I request you to do something. You are agreeing to me. You are agreeing to do what I have asked you to do. All right. So I hope I have made myself clear.
Yes, ma'am. It was very quite a good session and very informative, and we got to learn a lot of things about Indianism and how the words are used over there. So, thank you for your time and for sharing your knowledge. We hope to see you in next webinars as well if you would like to. And also,
My
the
pleasure.
participants, thank you for participating and being such a good audience. And thank you for asking questions and being interactive. And there are also so many comments regarding the session. Uh, and I will mention one comment over here, and that is from Mani Kumar. Thank you very much, ma'am. Mashallah, your presentation was so nice and very much informative. I've learned a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You have made my day at the end of the day. It's around 8:45 in India here in the night. And thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful experience. And I think I should tell the audience a huge round of applause to Awais. He has done a wonderful job of bringing all of us to one platform. Very good, and kudos to you, Awais.
Thank you, ma'am. Also, thanks to you for giving such a good session and conducting webinar. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you
And
so much.
thanks to audience for sharing their questions and for being a part of this webinar. Thank you very much. So now we will start to share the feedback link so that the participants can get their well-deserved uh, certificates. So thank you again, ma'am, and hope to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. So audience, now it's time to share the feedback form link, so that you can get your certificates. All right. So just Wait a minute, so I can share the form link with you. And thank you for participating, and thank you for being such a good audience and being interactive, and thank you for asking questions and being respectable. Thank you very much. And let me just get the link and I will comment it in the comment box, and then you can fill the form to get your certificate. And make sure that you write your correct name and correct email, because your name will be used for the certificate, and like the certificates are generated automatically, so the name that you would mention on the form will also be the name which will be written on the form. And make sure that you write your correct email address, so that we can send it to you, send your certificate to you. And thank you very much. And all right, name and email. And now let me share the link with you. Okay, so the link has been shared. All right, so click on the link that is commented in the comment section. And if you are viewing this video, watching this video through any other browser or something in which you cannot see the comment section, then kindly open the YouTube application if you are using the mobile phone. And if you are using or watching the webinar on desktop, then you may open it in Chrome, open the YouTube directly, open this video directly from the YouTube. Alright, so the link has been shared. Kindly fill the forms. And if you guys are having any trouble filling the form, you may comment. Okay, I'm resharing the link. The link has been changed due to some settings, and now you may get access to it. Alright, we have 25 responses so far. I'm sharing the link again. You may click on this new link, and then you will get the certificate. The certificate will be sent to you through email within 3 days. Alright, we have 38 responses so far, 40 responses. Thank you everyone again for joining this session and being such an interactive audience, and hope to see you in future webinars as well. Alright, so let's see how many of you have filled the forms. 47 participants have filled the form for the certificate. Make sure that you write your correct name which you want on the form, and also the correct email on which you want the certificate to be sent. And if someone is having a trouble or any issue in filling the forms, you may ask in comment section. And we have 48 responses so far. I'm sharing the link in comment box. If someone is not having access to the comment section, they should open the YouTube application if they are watching the webinar through mobile phone. And if someone is watching on desktop, they might use open the YouTube website directly get and then open the video so they can see the comment section. So only the people who fill the form will be eligible for the certificate. Right, so I am sending the link again. 57 responses so far. And if you like the webinar, you may suggest this to your friends as well. And if you have teachers who want to be a speaker at one of our webinars, they might also share this platform to their teachers so they can also share their knowledge with all of us. And if some teachers are watching right now, they may also contact us in order to become a speaker. And certificates will be sent through email within 3 days. And only the people who fill the feedback form will get the certificates. And make sure that you write your correct name and correct email in order to get the correct name on your certificates and to receive the certificates on your email. So 65 responses so far. Right. If you guys are having any trouble in filling the forms, they may comment. And also, I have to make an announcement that on hopefully on 20 November or so, we are going to have a very surprising and what you can say very exciting and interesting webinar. So I will update you guys on that as well on FB page. You can contact us at Facebook. We have the page with the same name, Linguistics and Pedagogy Webinars. And you may email us if you want to share something or to contact us at linguistics and pedagogy webinars at gmail.com. So your question, how many days before I or we get the certificate? All of you who fill the feedback form will get their certificates within 3 days. And 3 days will be today is 13, so 14, 15, and 16. Uh, by 16th November, you all will get your certificates. So I'm commenting the forms link again in the comment section. So we have got 68 responses so far. And thank you everybody joining and those who are watching at night. Good night to them and thank you for attending the whole webinar. I have seen some comments who are saying that it's 11 and in their country or 11:30 in their country. So I appreciate you guys being with us. Thank you so much and good night to you and good morning and good evening to the participants who are watching at those times. Thank you very much for joining. So currently we have 68 responses and I would once again that only the people who fill the feedback form will receive certificates and are eligible for receiving the certificates. If someone has registered him or herself and even attended the webinar but haven't filled the feedback form, they won't be able to receive the feedback form. They won't be able to receive the certificate. But if someone hasn't registered him or herself and watch the webinar and have been a active participant and then fill the feedback form, he or she will receive the certificate. So currently we have 70 responses so far. So there's a question that if we watch previous webinars, can we still get certificate? Sorry, the certificates aren't available for previous webinars. However, they will be available to you, but certificates are only given to the active participants and specifically to those who fill the feedback form. Alright, 72 responses. Alright, so I have shared the feedback forms link in comment section. Only the people who fill the feedback form will receive certificates. Do make sure that you fill the feedback form. Certificates will be sent to the email address which you provide in the feedback form. So right now we have 75 responses and we will wait for another 2 minutes and I will be sharing the feedback forms link in comment section and only those participants who fill the feedback form will be able to receive the certificates. Right, thank you everyone and good night once again. Right, so the feedback forms link is in the comments. I will also share. There are 19 participants who are watching live right now and now 17. So I will just share the email address in case if someone wants to connect to us. Linguistics and Pedagogy Webinars at gmail.com, and that's our email address if someone wants to contact us. And thank you very much for joining and being such active participants. And we also have a Facebook page. So in case you want information regarding new webinars which we will be conducting, the information will be shared on Facebook page. And if you want to contact us directly, you may email us at linguistics and pedagogy webinars at gmail.com. So we have 79 responses. We have got 79 responses. Thank you everyone. And the feedback forms link has been shared again in the comment section, and we will conclude our dissection session. And thank you everyone for joining in and actively participating, and hope to see you in future webinars. And thank you again. And also, the feedback forms link will be open to fill for another 1 hour, and then it will be closed. So thank you everyone for joining, and you may find the feedback forms link in comment. Make sure that you write your correct name and email address to receive the certificate. Thank you everyone. Good night, good morning, or good evening, good afternoon to whomever in whatsoever region they are. Thank you very much.